When we think about business competition, we usually picture it like a boxing match, right? Two rivals just slugging it out. But what if I told you that's just one corner of the ring? It turns out the real fight isn't just for market share, it's for profits. And the rules of that fight are set by this powerful, kind of hidden structure that most people never even see. So, to see what I mean, let's start with a classic business puzzle, a real head scratcher. Okay, on one hand, you have the airline industry. For pretty much its entire history, it's been a total nightmare for investors. I mean, a place where massive amounts of money just vanish. It's all about brutal competition, tiny profits, and honestly, long stretches of just awful losses. But then, on the other hand, you've got the soft drink industry. This thing has been a license to mint money for decades. Just consistently, reliably profitable year after year. So what gives? They're both massive, global industries. They both sell to millions and millions of us. So why is one basically a financial black hole, while the other is a wealth-generating machine? Well, this is the exact mystery we're about to solve using a really brilliant framework. See, the key to unlocking this whole puzzle is a framework called the Five Forces. It was developed by a Harvard Business School professor, Michael Porter, and it basically teaches us to look at competition in a much, much broader way. Porter's big aha moment was realizing that the fight for profit gets pulled in all these different directions. You're not just duking it out with your direct rivals. You're in a constant battle with your customers, your suppliers, and even companies that aren't even in your industry yet. And he organized this whole thing into these five forces. Now, together, these five factors are what define the structure of any industry, and ultimately, what determines how profitable it can be in the long run. You can kind of think of them as the five fronts in the war for profits. All right, theory's cool, but let's apply this stuff to our airline and soft drink industries to see how it works in the real world. This is where it gets interesting. Let's kick things off with the power of your buyers, your customers. This is all about their ability to put the squeeze on you, right? To demand lower prices or better service, which of course eats right into your profit margins. And wow, the contrast here is just night and day. For airlines, buyer power is through the roof. We, the customers, can hop online, compare prices in seconds. It costs us absolutely nothing to switch from one airline to another. It's a commodity, so we just want the cheapest seat. But for soft drinks, an individual like you or me has almost zero bargaining power. And more importantly, those monster brands create this incredible loyalty. People aren't just looking for the cheapest fizzy drink. They want their brand. And hey, this isn't just about individual shoppers. Think about a giant like Costco. They can walk into any supplier and basically dictate terms. Lower prices, better quality, or that supplier risks losing access to millions of customers. That, my friends, is buyer power in action. Okay, next up is the other side of that coin, the power of your suppliers. These are the folks you buy from. And if they're powerful, they can jack up their prices or give you lower quality stuff and capture more of the industry's value for themselves. This explains another reason why airlines just get crushed. Their most important suppliers, the companies that make the planes and the engines, are basically a duopoly, Boeing and Airbus. Airlines have very little choice, which gives those two suppliers huge power to charge high prices. Soft drink companies, on the other hand, they're buying basic stuff, commodities like sugar, water, and aluminum. There are tons of suppliers for that, so no single one has any real power over them. Then you've got to worry about the new guy on the block. The threat of new entrants is all about how easy or hard it is for someone new to jump into your game. We call these barriers to entry. When those barriers are low, anyone can set up shop, and that just means more competition and lower profits for everyone. Now, at first you'd think starting an airline is crazy hard, right? But here's the thing. You can lease planes, you can lease airport gates. It's more possible than you think. The soft drink industry, though, that's a fortress. The real barriers aren't just the factories. It's the insane brand loyalty and the iron grip the big players have on distribution. Getting their stuff onto every supermarket shelf. For a newcomer, competing with that is next to impossible. Verse number 4 is a sneaky one because it doesn't even come from inside your industry. Substitutes are totally different products that solve the same basic need. A movie theater isn't just competing with other theaters, it's competing with Netflix at home. For airlines, the threat from substitutes is super high. For short trips, people can just drive or take a train. For a business meeting, maybe they just do a video call instead. Now, soft drinks do have substitutes like water or juice, but that powerful brand loyalty we keep talking about creates an emotional connection. For a lot of people, a plain glass of water just doesn't feel like a real substitute. All right, so after we've looked at all those pressures from the outside, we finally get to the force we all know best, the direct, head-to-head rivalry among the players who are already in the game. But here's the absolute killer insight. Not all rivalry is the same. In the airline industry, because the product, a seat on a plane, is so similar, rivalry becomes this destructive war over price. Price wars break out, and boom, everyone's profits just disappear. In the soft drink world, the rivalry is just as intense, but it's channeled into things like branding and advertising. And that kind of competition doesn't destroy value, it actually builds it by making each company's brand even stronger. So there you have it. Puzzle solved. The 5 forces show us exactly why the airline industry bleeds cash and the soft drink industry prints it. But listen, this framework isn't just for a classroom discussion, it is a seriously powerful tool for building a real strategy. Once you analyze the forces in your industry, you can get smart. You can position your company to build up defenses against the forces that are really threatening you. And even better, you can start to think about how to actually change the forces in your favor. Maybe you create a loyalty program that makes it harder for customers to switch, or you find a way to make your product so different that you're not just fighting over price anymore. So after all this, what's the one big idea you should walk away with? The ultimate takeaway is this. It's the deep, underlying structure of an industry, those 5 forces, that really drives its ability to make money over the long haul. It's not about being in a cool or high-tech industry. It's about being in an industry that has a favorable structure. And once you understand that, it gives you a completely new lens for looking at literally any business out there. And that brings us to one last question, and this one is for you. Think about the industry you work in, or maybe just one you find interesting. Which of these 5 forces is the most powerful one? Which is the one that's really calling the shots and deciding who wins and who loses? Once you can answer that, you're already starting to think like a strategist.